everybody, and welcome to the Halloween version of Stories from the Library. We have a lot of good tales today. And the first story we're going to read is Pumply Dumply Pumpkin by Mary Serfozzo. Okay, Peter's looking for a pumpkin, a perfect plumply dumply pumpkin. Not a lumpy bumpy pumpkin, not a stumpy grumpy pumpkin, but a sunny sumptuous pumpkin. Finally, on a twining vine, he spies a pumpkin, fat and fine. Not too fat, though, not at all. Not too short and not too tall. Not some squat, lopsided pumpkin, but a glossy lot of pumpkin. What does Peter want a pumpkin? Want a showy, glowy pumpkin? Pumpkin pickles, pumpkin pie, pumpkin pudding, pumpkin fry, pumpkin salad, pumpkin stew. What is Peter going to do? With his pumpkin home at last, Peter starts in, working fast. Draws some eyes and draws a chin, then draws a plumply dumply grin. Helps his dad carve into place a simply dimply dumply face. Lights a light behind the grin to start it glowing from within. Later wins the most applause, and really no surprise at all. Perfect pumpkins really do make perfect jack-o'-lanterns too. That one looks pretty good. And that's the story of the plumply dumply pumpkin. I'll tell you what, we'll do that afterwards, okay? We're going to do a finger play now about some pumpkins. In fact, 5 little pumpkins, in fact, okay? 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one says, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one says, "There are witches everywhere." The third one says, "But we don't care." The fourth one says, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one says, "Isn't Halloween fun?" Then, ooh, went the wind, and out went the light, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. Well, it's a little different. Everybody says it a little different. Okay. The next story we'll read. Let's do When the Goblins Came A-Knocking by Anna Gross Nichols Hines. More pumpkins. When the pumpkins came walking, creeping and peeking, sneakily stalking last Halloween. You okay, baby?
Yeah, I need tissue.
I was tongue-tied. Okay. Let's see if I have a tissue. When the ghosts came haunting, moaning and groaning, booing and taunting last Halloween, I wanted to hide. When the witches came flying, screeching and cackling, swooping and crying last Halloween, I ran, terrified. When the ghoulies came prancing, smirking and grinning, leaping and dancing last Halloween, I trembled inside. When the monsters came yowling, screaming and shrieking, yelling and howling last Halloween, I whined and I cried. Oh, that's no fun. When the goblins came knocking, tricking and treating, spooking and mocking last Halloween, I was too scared to join in the fun. But this Halloween, I'm the scariest one. Oh, I'm so glad. He's going to go out and have a good time trick-or-treating. Okay, the next book we have is called Popcorn. One fall night, Mama and Papa Bear went to a Halloween party and left Sam home alone. So he called up his friends and invited them to his house for his own Halloween party. While he waited for his friends to arrive, he made himself a costume. The first to arrive was Betty. I brought some popcorn for the party, she said. The second to arrive was Billy. He brought popcorn too. Bernie, Bonnie, and Buster also brought popcorn. In fact, everyone brought popcorn. Why? They thought it would be good. The party was lots of fun. When Betty said, "Hey, let's pop all that popcorn," everyone thought it was a good idea. With some help from his friends, Sam lifted Mama Bear's great big kettle onto the kitchen stove and poured in all the popcorn. He added some oil and salt and turned on the stove. Soon it began to pop. Pop, pop, pop. There was so much popcorn, it quickly filled the kettle and spilled out onto the floor. There was so much popcorn, it filled the whole kitchen. It spilled out into the living room. It filled all the rooms downstairs and crept upstairs. There was so much popcorn, it filled the whole house. What happened? Help! Who turned out the lights? Where did everybody go? Some party. Get me out of here. Everyone wanted to go home, but Sam said, "No, you've got to stay and help me get rid of all this popcorn or I'll be in big trouble." So then you hear munch, crunch, munch, crunch, munch, munch, crunch, gulp. They're eating it. They ate and 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 ate until all the popcorn was gone. Oh, that's a lot of popcorn. I don't care if I ever see another piece of popcorn in my whole life, said Buster. I feel like my stomach is going to burst, said Betty. Mine too, said Bobby. Whoa. Sam felt the sickest of all. He said goodnight to his friends and cleaned up. And he went to bed. Late that night, Mama and Papa Bear came home. Wake up, they said. We brought you a present. What is it? Asked Sam. Popcorn, they replied. Uh-oh. Do you think he wants any more popcorn? No. Oh dear, that was funny.
Well, maybe he wanted it for next time.
That's a good idea. If he's smart, that's what he'll do. Okay, now we're going to do a finger play about witches. Actually, it's like a song. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little witches fly over haystacks, fly over ditches, slide down moonbeams without any hitches. Hey ho, Halloween's here. Okay, let's do that one again. Because I want to. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little witches fly over haystacks, fly into ditches, slide down moonbeams without any hitches. Hey ho, Halloween's here. Okay, excellent. You guys are excellent at everything Halloween. All righty, let's do In the Haunted House by Eve Bunting. This is the house where the scary ones hide. Open the door and step softly inside.
It was quiet.
An organ is playing a funeral air. It's playing and playing, but nobody's there. Ghosts swim in the hallway. 3 witches appear. Bats hang by their feet from the cracked chandelier. Give me your hand. You're as brave as can be. I know you're not frightened, but stay close to me.
In my Halloween, the witches come so much.
Yes. At the top of the stairs where the long cobwebs drift is a box with a lid that says, "Do not lift." The mirror that hangs on the dark paneled wall shows faces that don't look like faces at all. A mummy's in bed and it's dead as can be, so why does his dead eye keep winking at me? And who's in the closet, dark as a tomb, rattling his bones in the gloom, gloomy gloom? I know you're not frightened, but still, we could go. No one would notice. No? You say no? The roof space is creeping and crawling with things that have horns and raggedy wings. There's a coffin-shaped tub, claw-footed and deep, and in it's a vampire who smiles in his sleep. At the basin, a werewolf is washing his snout, sucking in water and spitting it out. Is someone behind us? I don't want to look. It might be a zombie. It might be a spook. We're back where we started. The bats are still there. The organ's still playing a funeral air. It's time to go home, to step softly outside, out of the house where the scary things hide, into the day that's a sparkle with sun. Halloween houses are so much fun. Oh, look who the scary one is. The little girl goes back for the umbrella. I think her daddy was scared, and not her. What do you think? You think he was scared?
Yeah, my daddy's not scared.
Your daddy's not scared? Well, that daddy's was scared.
I'm scared of that dream.
Oh, well, you know what?
I scared my daddy.
Oh, well, you know what? We're going to do a nice cat finger play now, okay?
But I'm a cat.
Oh, and so you should be good at this one.
My daddy gets scared of Halloween things.
Oh, gee. Well, you know what? Let's do this finger play about the cat, and this is a nice one. This isn't a scary one, okay? I am a witch's cat. Meow, meow. My fur is black as darkest night. My eyes are glaring green and bright. I am the witch's cat. Meow, meow. Let's do that one again, okay? I am the witch's cat. Meow, meow. My fur is black as dark as night. My eyes are glaring green and bright. I am the witch's cat. Meow, meow. Oh, that one's kind of a gentle one. Even though it's a witch's cat, it's kind of a nice one. All right, let's do The Halloweener by Dave Pilkey. Listen to this story. There once was a dog named Oscar who was half a dog tall and 1.5 dogs long. Because of his unusual shape and size, all the other dogs made fun of him. Wiener dog, they called him, and Oscar did not like it one bit. Yeah. Oscar's mother was no help either. Every morning when the dogs walked off to obedience school, Oscar's mother stood in the front yard, waiting and calling out, "Farewell, my little Vienna sausage." And the other dogs laughed and laughed. Most of the time, Oscar was upset by all of this, but not today. Today was Halloween, and Oscar was thinking about other things. All day long at obedience school, Oscar daydreamed about Halloween night, trick-or-treats, and scary costumes. When Oscar got home, he dashed upstairs to start working on his scary Halloween costume. But when he got to his room, a surprise was waiting for him. "Happy Halloween, my little sausage link," said Oscar's mother. "I made you a costume to wear for tricks or treats." When Oscar saw the costume, he nearly fainted. It was a giant hot dog bun, complete with mustard, and guess who was supposed to fit in the middle of it? Oscar did not want to hurt his mother's feelings, so he decided to wear the silly costume. That night, all the dogs on the block gathered to show off their costumes. Everyone was looking quite scary. Then Oscar showed up looking quite frank. Yes. When the dogs saw Oscar in his silly costume, they howled with laughter. "Look at Oscar," they cried. "He really is a wiener dog." Poor Oscar was so embarrassed. "Wiener dog," laughed the other dogs as they ran off to go trick-or-treating. Oscar tried to keep up with the dogs, but his silly costume kept slowing him down. All night long, the other dogs hounded every treat they could get their paws on. So by the time Oscar got to each house, there were no treats left. I don't know. Soon, trick-or-treating was over, and the dogs walked home past a spooky graveyard. Suddenly, a horrible hissing sound filled the air. The dogs stopped dead in their tracks. Then, out of the graveyard rose a ghastly monster. The dogs screamed for their lives. They dropped their treats and jumped into a nearby pond. The monster moved closer. "Please don't eat us," cried the dogs. The monster yelled and hissed. "Boo-hoo-hoo," sobbed the dogs. The monster jumped up and down. "Somebody save us," shrieked the dogs. Just then, somebody showed up. It was Oscar. Because Oscar was so short, he saw something that the other dogs had not seen. "That's no monster," cried Oscar, and with a loud bark, Oscar waddled to the rescue. Oscar chomped and tugged with all his might. Rip! And there, standing in the moonlight, were a couple of ornery cats. "Help!" cried the cats. "We're being attacked by a giant Frankfurter." And they ran off screaming through the graveyard. What a lot of yelling tonight. The dogs in the pond had seen the whole thing, and now it was their turn to be embarrassed. "We've been chased into the pond by a couple of cats," they moaned. But Oscar was a true friend. He leaped into the water and swam out to the dogs. Oscar's silly costume made a wonderful life raft, and the dogs climbed up. "All aboard," Oscar called, and he dog-paddled back to shore. When they got back to dry land, all the dogs shared their Halloween treat with Oscar. Because Oscar had been so brave, the dogs changed his nickname from Wiener Dog to Hero Sandwich. And from that night on, nobody ever made fun of Oscar again. Happy Halloween! And that is the story of the Halloweener. Okay, let's do another finger play. Okay, this one is called The Friendly Ghost. "I'm a friendly ghost, almost, and I can chase you too. I'll just cover me with a sheet and then call scat to you." Okay, let's do that one again. Let's pretend we're ghosts. "I'm a friendly ghost, almost, And I can chase you too. I'll just cover myself up with a sheet and then say scat to you. All right. Okay, now let's read Pumpkin Eye by Denise Fleming. Yellow moon rising soon. Piece of pie, pumpkin eye. Candlesticks, burning wicks. Trick or treat, pounding feet, jack-o'-lanterns line the street. Down the hill, spirits spill. Purple scales, dragon tails, twisted horns, unicorns. Trick or treat, pounding feet, eerie shadows fill the street. Swooping bats, hissing cats. Tattered rags, toothless hags, pointed tails, blood-red nails. Trick or treat, pounding feet, wretched riches roam the street. Clacking bones, muffled moans. Tigers growl, werewolves howl. Toes curl, heads swirl, things bump, hearts thump. Pounding feet, Halloween has found our street. Trick or treat. Okay, I think that's what everybody's going to be saying tonight.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Mama, Bob's gonna be all of the princesses.
Oh, that's
And
going
on
to be...
Halloween, at nighttime Halloween, I will be a koala bear.
Oh.
And it is knocking and knocking.
And knocking and saying trick or treat. Okay.
I will be a superhero.
Oh, okay.
Ah, Cinderella.
Okay, guys, this is the last story we're going to read, okay?
One is funny and that one's proud.
Okay, this is the last story we're going to read, and then we can get ready to go trick-or-treating. When I was 1 year old, I was a clown for Halloween. There's a picture of it in my baby book on a page called Babies First. I'm wearing an orange and black clown suit and a pointy hat with a pom-pom. In the picture, I'm trying to pull the hat off my head. I bet you guys have pictures like that. Tiffany,
I have a
don't
clown
do that,
one
honey.
for your hair.
Yeah?
And it's lit on me. I need to give it to your hair.
Okay, let's read this story and then we'll be done. Mom says I was too little to go trick-or-treating that Halloween, so we went to my grandmother's house and my grandmother gave me $1. Then we went to my other grandmother's house, and my other grandmother gave me $1. Wow, that's pretty cool. Then we went to my great-grandmother's house. My great-grandmother gave me $2. To this day, I have never seen the money. Mom says it went to my bank account for college. On the way home, Mom tells me I sucked the starch out of my stiff clown collar and ate part of the pom-pom off my hat. Then I fell asleep in the car. Mom says we had loads of fun, but I don't remember that. When I was 2 years old, my big brother Michael was a magician, and I was a rabbit for Halloween. Michael wore a black cape and a fake mustache that curled up at the ends. I wore a fuzzy white rabbit suit that Mom had sewn. It had pink inside the ears. My dad made a huge top hat, taller than me, out of cardboard. At every house, my brother waved his magic wand over the hat, and I was supposed to jump out from behind it. I didn't feel like jumping that day. He was running away. When I was 3 years old, Mom decided my brother and I should be an angel and a devil for Halloween. Since Michael's older, he got to be which one he wanted. Guess who had to wear an angel suit? When I was 4, Michael was a mouse and I was a wedge of Swiss cheese for Halloween. Dad made my costume out of wood. Mom painted it yellow and drilled cheeses all over it. The costume was so big and heavy, I couldn't walk up anyone's porch steps. I had to wait at the sidewalk while my brother rang each doorbell and yelled, "Trick or treat." Okay, Jessica and Ayesha, let's listen. At 3 houses, he forgot to ask for candy from me. When I was 5 years old, I was a robot for Halloween, and Michael was the scientist who created me. Dad made my costume out of a cardboard box, and he painted it silver. He brought switches and dials and control knobs from work and glued them all over the box. At every house, my brother was supposed to push one of my buttons, and I was supposed to say, "Trick or treat," in a robot voice. The box was so hot inside, I had to take it off and carry it after 2 houses. Michael told me I ruined all the fun. When I was 6 years old, I was a bunch of grapes. Mom got the idea and spent a week sewing the costume. I asked her why anyone would want to be a bunch of grapes, but she said it was the best Halloween costume in the history of civilization, so I didn't argue. At our classroom Halloween party, Lauren, Brett, Claire, Adam, and Sarah asked me what I was supposed to be. Evan looked at me funny. Max told me I looked like I belonged inside Fruit of the Loom underwear. I couldn't sit down all afternoon because of the grapes sewn to my behind. This year I turned 7. I told my parents I wanted to make my own costume for Halloween. Mom put her hands on my shoulders and said, "But Benji, honey, we always help you with your costume." "I know," I said, "but this year I think I can do it myself. Is that okay?"